same kind of environment the script demands.
For the past 60 years, studio tour visitors have driven right by these buildings, and inside these walls, the sets from your favorite TV shows and movies have transported audiences anywhere the imagination could take you, even to a palatial mansion in Bel Air.
When we film Bel Air, we love coming out of the sound stages and seeing the trams filled with excited guests as they drive by.
So, keep an eye out.
You never know who
or what
you'll see on the studio tour.
They filmed that inside stage 14, which is also another stage used for Bel Air. You could have seen one of the glamour trams driving by in the background in the scene while they're filming. Bel Air streams on Peacock, and Peacock has a lot of Universal movies and television shows. Another Peacock series of films here is called Based on a True Story. And that series uses the next two stages on the right, 16 and 17. We're working on season 2 right now. It stars Kaylee Cuoco, who used to be on Big Bang Theory, and Chris Messina, who used to be on the Mindy Project. And the Mindy Project had filmed inside these same stages. So this is for the children on the tram. It doesn't matter where you're visiting from all over the world, your children are probably going to know who the statues are. In front of stage 18, Bob and Stuart are two of our minions, and they're going to be in a new movie next week. They're coming out in Despicable Me 4, a film that's produced by Chris Meledandri. And Chris Meledandri has his production offices in these bungalows on the left, right behind the statue of Ted, the talking bear. Chris Meledandri is going to tell you about these bungalows.
In the early days of the studio, these bungalows were used as dressing rooms to the stars of Hollywood's golden age. Now, they're used as offices where some of Hollywood's top directors, writers, and producers work their magic to get a production ready, including my company, Illumination.
Yeah.
At Illumination, we've made some of the most successful animated films in box office history, including Despicable Me, The Lorax, The Secret Life of Pets, Minions, Sing, The Grinch, and the Super Mario Brothers movie. And the team is hard at work again as we launch our next film, Despicable Me 4.
Hello, everybody, there's my boy. I know you love your dada. Go up, say it.
Yes, of course he loves you. He just doesn't show it on his face or with his body language.
We've had some really good sequences in Despicable Me movies. The heist of the Honey Badger is now officially my favorite. What it comes down to is the emotional through line. And I believe that that's why these movies have stayed in people's hearts.
That's going to open on July 3rd. Behind the last office on the left side of the tram, we've got two more stages in the front lot. One of them we use for our NBC comedy Lopez versus Lopez with George and Mayan Lopez. And we're filming a brand new show today. As we're driving around this area, you might see people dressed up like they're in the hospital. It's a comedy that takes place in a hospital for NBC called St. Denis Medical. And it's going to start airing this fall. It's with David Alan Grier, Wendy McClendon, Covey stars in it. So take a look around as we're driving by. Lately, some of the soundstage doors have been open. You might be able to take a look inside. While they've been filming all the interior scenes of the hospital inside the soundstage, they're getting the backlot sets over on the right ready to be the exterior of the hospital on the show. So this building on the corner is going to be the outside of St. Denis Medical. Now, once we pass by the St. Denis Medical set, we're going to be driving through one of the most famous sections of our backlot. And here to tell you about it is one of the stars of Back to the Future, Leah Thompson, and the film's writer and producer, Bob Gale.
Welcome to the Courthouse Square. These sets were used to create Hill Valley in the Back to the Future films.
And they represented multiple time periods, 1985, 1955, and the far, far distant future, 2015. To this day, this is one of the most popular sets on the Universal Studio Tour.
We had a lot of fun making those films here on the lot. I wonder what it'd be like to go back to those days. If only we had a time machine.
Hey, everybody. Do you think we can get this tram up to 88 miles per hour?
I hope
not. See you in the future.
We are at top speed. This is the road that Marty McFly drove the time machine down at the end of the film. There's Doc Brown with the time machine. Doc, are we interrupting any experiments?
Get what?
60 years of the studio tour. Thank you, Doc. Doc, we didn't want to interrupt the space-time continuum for too long. We just wanted people to take pictures of you, the time machine. The City Hall building was the clock tower that got struck by lightning at exactly 10:04. This is one of the most well-known sections of our backlot. As we leave this set, we're going to be driving past an area where we once had a classic attraction built on the tour. And it used to be on the corner of the left side of the tram where the movie theater is now. And to tell you what it was, this is one of the stars of our 2005 version of King Kong, Jack Black.
And self-action. Did you know the Metro sets were once the home to Hollywood's biggest star? Right here is where the original studio tour King Kong attraction resided from 1986 until 2008. He stood 30 feet tall and weighed in at 13,000 pounds. Over the years, millions of guests got to meet King Kong face to face as he shook the tram. So close you could feel his hot banana breath. Is that it? Can't believe that's my last line, and then tram moves on to the next thing.
Just keep moving. The area of the backlot where we once had the old King Kong attraction is called New York Street. But we can dress New York Street to be different cities, different states, different time periods. We've been using this as Boston on the comedy series Ted, which streams on Peacock. That's the show with the talking bear. Seth MacFarlane co-wrote and directed both the movies, Ted and Ted 2. He's very much involved with the television show. He's the voice of Ted. He produces the show. He's directed every episode so far. And the show got picked up for a second season. So they're coming back soon to start working on new episodes. Ted Danson has also been working on a new show in our backlot. His new series is called A Classic Spy, and that's going to be streaming on Netflix. Coming up this hill to the next part of the backlot, we're going to be passing by a little bit of studio tour history. It's going to be right beyond this building on the right, the old collapsing bridge and the runaway train. The collapsing bridge was a mechanical effect the tram used to drive across, and the hydraulic support beams would split, and the bridge would collapse right as the tram was driving across. The old runaway train used to be in the western town, and that would speed towards the tram and come to a screeching halt at the last possible moment. Both of these are retired effects that were built for the studio tour 50 years ago. The tunnel that we're entering right now is the entrance to Skull Island, and this is where King Kong lives now. This is the director of our 2005 version of King Kong, Peter Jackson.
It's the original King Kong that